There's a moment that plays over and over in your head. The words they said, the look in their eyes when they betrayed you, the way the air felt heavier after they left. Time has passed. You've moved on, or at least that's what you tell yourself. You smile at the people around you, you work, you laugh, but every so often, something pulls you back. A smell, a sound, a sentence, and suddenly you're standing in that same room again, hearing the same words, feeling the same pain. People say, forgive and forget, as if it's just a switch you can flip, as if real wounds disappear when you look away. But forgetting is dangerous. Forgetting erases the lessons that pain leaves behind. And in the quiet of the night, when the world sleeps, you know deep down what they did shaped you. So maybe the question isn't, can I forget? But should I? There's a teaching in Buddhism that says forgiveness is not erasure. It is not pretending it never happened. It is choosing to release the poison without throwing away the memory. Because memories are not just scars, they are maps. Maps that remind us where we've been, what we've survived, and how far we've walked. And perhaps if we can hold the memory without holding the bitterness, we'll discover something far more powerful than forgive and forget. We'll learn how to remember and be free. In Buddhism, forgiveness is not about morality points or appearing virtuous. It's about liberation. The Buddha understood that resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. The longer we cling to anger, the heavier our suffering becomes. But here's the subtle truth. Buddhism does not ask us to forget. Forgetting can make us naive, vulnerable to the same harm again. Instead, it asks us to transform the relationship we have with our memories. In the Buddhist view, when someone wrongs you, two things happen: an event in the outside world and a wound in your inner world. The first is beyond your control. It's already happened. The second is where your freedom lies. Forgiveness is cleaning the wound so it doesn't infect your whole being. Remembering is keeping the scar so you don't walk blindly into the same fire. Stories from the Buddha's life tell of enemies who harmed him deeply, yet he never forgot their actions. Instead, he remembered them without hatred, seeing them as teachers who revealed the truth of impermanence, desire, and attachment. Forgiveness in Buddhism is like holding a thorn you've removed from your hand. You keep it on the shelf, not to relive the pain, but to remember never to grip it again. Forgiveness, in the Buddhist sense, is not a transaction. It's not saying, I forgive you, so now we're even. It's closer to setting down a heavy stone you've been carrying for miles. Not because the path is done, but because your back needs relief. When you cling to anger, you carry the weight of the person who hurt you. They may have moved on. They may have forgotten what they did. But in your mind, the wound is replayed like a looped film. Every look, every word, every detail. That's not memory anymore. That's self-imprisonment. Buddha once told the story of two monks traveling together. At one point, they reached a river and saw a woman struggling to cross. One monk carried her to the other side. Then they continued walking. Hours later, the other monk said, I can't believe you carried that woman. You know our vows forbid it. The first monk replied, I put her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her? That's what holding on to resentment is like, carrying someone long after they're gone. But here's where the Western mind sometimes struggles. Forgiving doesn't mean pretending it never happened. If someone breaks your trust, forgiveness doesn't demand you open the door for them again. You can forgive in your heart and still choose distance. Think of it like touching a flame. You don't keep your hand over the fire to prove you've healed. You simply learn not to touch it again. Forgiveness is for you. Forgetting is optional. In Buddhist thought, the mind is like a garden. Weeds, resentment, bitterness, revenge, grow quickly when left unattended. Forgiveness is pulling those weeds out, not to deny they ever existed, but to stop them from choking the flowers. Some people hear forgive and think it means condone, but they are not the same. Condoning is saying, it's fine, do it again. Forgiving is saying, I release my grip on the pain, but I see you clearly now. In the West, we often hear forgive and forget as if the two are inseparable. But Buddhism teaches that memory is part of wisdom. Forgetting can leave you vulnerable to repeating the same patterns. Remembering, when free from hatred, becomes learning. It's like carrying a scar. You don't stare at it every day, but when you see it, you remember the wound, the healing, and the lesson. And here's the paradox. When you forgive without forgetting, you hold both compassion and boundaries in the same hand. Compassion because you wish no harm to the one who hurt you. Boundaries because you've learned what they are capable of.
In the modern Western world, we're taught to move fast. Let it go is often code for stop making things uncomfortable. But rushing forgiveness can be as harmful as holding a grudge. Take social media. When someone posts an apology, the crowd demands instant absolution or endless punishment. We forget that forgiveness is not a public performance, it's an inner work. A friend betrays your trust. A coworker steals your idea. A partner says something cruel in anger. In each case, the hurt is real. And in each case, you have a choice. Carry it or release it. But releasing doesn't mean pretending it's all okay. In fact, in a world of online scams, workplace politics, and broken relationships, forgetting can make you an easy target. Buddhist forgiveness works well in the West when we see it as emotional decluttering. You remove the anger, but you keep the lesson. Think about it like clearing your phone storage. You delete what drains you, but you keep the important files backed up. Your mind works the same way. You keep the knowledge, not the emotional burden. In practice, this means you can have coffee with someone who hurt you without carrying silent rage, but also without handing them the keys to your house again. This balance is rare in Western culture, which often swings between total cutoff or naive reconciliation. The Buddhist middle path offers something quieter, more sustainable. Release the poison, keep the wisdom. There's a line from an old Zen teaching. To forgive is to untie the knot in your own heart. Notice it says nothing about the other person. They may never change. They may never say sorry. But your peace is worth more than their remorse. Forgiveness without forgetting is like placing a stone in a river. You don't stop the current, but you change its path. You alter how the pain flows through you. So maybe the next time someone says forgive and forget, you can smile and think, I will forgive because I deserve peace. I will not forget because I deserve wisdom. And in that space, between peace and wisdom, you'll find something greater than revenge or resentment. You'll find freedom.